I was able to meet Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith in the CBS studio over there for the Final Four, actually. And I also met Spike Lee. Shout out to him. One thing I always wanted to do was to bring this show home. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I always wanted to do, to New York City. And thanks to my brother who just walked up in the building, Father God, I'll be able to do that. His show is right after mine. Nobody put us on 7 o'clock. Tune into that right after this show. So once again, thanks to the Street Media team for the platform, for me to be able to bring this show home. This is episode 7, and I'm ready to get this show on the road. How did this group came about?
Well, Public Enemy initially came about when I think Def Jam offered Chuck D a recording contract, and then Chuck, being an avid student, an avid listener of music, was connected to myself and Flavor. I was connected to the brothers that formed the S1Ws.
Mommy, can I please watch the Real Leel show, please?
Every day, there are news going on in sports and pop culture, and I give my takes on them. Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally home. New York City. Get ready for this great episode.
Okay, live from the S.Street Media headquarters in New York City, brings you a brand new episode of The Real Leel Show, where I will get my unique takes on the latest news in sports and pop culture. All right, the NFL regular season is officially over. The playoffs is set to begin, and there's a lot of news and topics that are going around, circulating in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, back in 2018 on The Real Leel Show, actually on Mike and Leel Keeping It Real, rather, my other radio show with Mike, I told the Central New Yorkers and the people that were listening that Lamar Jackson will be the most successful quarterback out the draft.
I go Lamar Jackson, and the reason why
Lamar Jackson is being overlooked.
Exactly, and I believe that he's going to play with an edge, and he's going to be hungry to show a lot of people, even up to this day, an offensive line coach saying that, oh, he's not going to succeed. Listen, when people said stuff about me in the past, growing up, I couldn't do this, I couldn't graduate, I couldn't do this, it made me hungry.
Mamba mentality.
And it made me where I am today, here in the WSUC FM radio booth in Cortland, New York. Is why I believe that he's going to be the most successful, and he's going to be in the right system, and we're going to be talking about Lamar Jackson.
All right, I didn't say he was going to be the best quarterback. I said the most successful quarterback. Why? Because I do believe that Lamar Jackson was drafted by a better team in the Ravens, in which Joe Flacco will be unseated towards the end of the year. Now, Lamar Jackson did unseat Joe Flacco earlier than I expected by a couple games, but still, the prediction came true, and as I do all the time, I keep it real. That's number one. Number two, I got into it with Mike, if y'all watch the show, when we talked about Kirk Cousins, right? I said to Mike that Kirk Cousins is no better than Alex Smith.
I'd have to get rid of all his weapons, and he's standing there like, what do you want me to do?
I really don't personally believe that Kirk Cousins is any better than Alex Smith. Honestly, you can't show me. Show me where Kirk Cousins could lead a team to the playoffs and actually compete. It's no proof. He can't. I don't believe he is a top 10 or top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
And how can
We're
Alex
going to know
Smith
next year
compete?
for sure.
Oh, that's different. But how can Alex Smith compete? Because you're talking about a guy that has, one playoff victory under his belt when he played New Orleans and one with San Francisco.
Against your team. Against your team.
That has nothing to do with this conversation.
Against Drew
Thank you for
Brees.
bringing it up.
Against Drew Brees.
Nothing to do with this conversation.
Don't forget about it. Drew Brees is a top 2 quarterback.
And here's the other thing about Alex Smith.
Top 3, actually.
Who do you have in San Francisco when he had career years? Jim Harbaugh, one of the best offensive coaches.
Agreed.
Who did he go to Kansas City? Andy Reid,
All
one
right.
of the best offensive coaches.
Where is Jim Harbaugh right
Ed
now?
Vernon Davis.
He's
in
coaching
college.
Michigan.
I think that was his choice, though. I don't know if that was...
No, it wasn't his choice. He got kicked. He got fired.
It was a tough relationship
He got
between him and the
fired.
49ers front office.
He got
I
fired.
would say
He's
that,
coaching Michigan. Michigan had a disappointing year this year.
That's true. I don't know, man. We'll see next year. I mean, Kirk Cousins he's a free agent. He's going to get paid a ton in the offseason. There's a good chance he'll be the highest paid quarterback. He's probably going to pass Stafford.
I want to see.
100%, and I agree.
My thing is, I want to see.
Quarterback is dime a dozen nowadays, and he's
right? And they got on me. They was like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? Listen, history, numbers never lie. And when we get into the chapter and when I start talking about Kirk Cousins later on in the show, I'm going to bring you those numbers. Because the saying goes, numbers never lie. I also said in previous episodes that the Steelers, as talented as the Steelers are, they're going to fall short of expectations. Because that's what the Steelers do. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Real Lil to get this show on the road with my opening statement for today's episode. Doug Williams was the first black quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, throwing for 340 yards, 4 touchdowns against the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 22. At a time when the norm was black quarterbacks wasn't smart enough to play the position. Black people wasn't smart to be a quarterback in the NFL. That's when Doug Williams won the Super Bowl, the first ever. Tony Dungy was the first ever black head coach to win a Super Bowl, and he did it against the Chicago Bears. Needless to say, the reason why I bring this up is for several reasons. Number one, you look at the head coaches in the NFL who just got fired. 5 of the 7 coaches that got fired are black coaches. We all know the situation about Kaepernick that has been plaguing the NFL for a couple years. The kneeling and being blackballed in the NFL, time and time again, quarterbacks going down and, at an alarming rate, and Colin Kaepernick is being overlooked. You still got Nathan Peterman, who throws an interception on every play, still in the league. You rather call him Mark Sanchez, but fumble man, rather than call Kaepernick. Needless to say, the quarterbacks that are going to be playing in the playoffs this year, if y'all may have not noticed, 5 of them are black quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Pat Mahomes. All these quarterbacks are going to be all black. So needless to say, the stone that the builder rejects becomes the head cornerstone. The norm has been that these quarterbacks are not smart, black quarterbacks. But here you go. 5 quarterbacks are playing in the postseason are black quarterbacks. So it's time to get into the meat of the topics. All right, starting with the Steelers. And before I get to the Steelers, ladies and gentlemen, hold on real quick. Before I get to the Steelers, I just want to give my condolences to Tyler Trent, a 20-year-old boy who died of cancer. R.I.P. to him, and may God rest his soul. But one thing I want to say is that there are a lot of people that get sick and they die, and I feel that we should acknowledge a lot more people and not just one particular group. All right, there's a lot of black people getting shot every day by the cops. There's a lot of black people being sick, and I acknowledge them also and their families, and my thoughts go out to them also. But now it's time to get into the show. The Steelers, ladies and gentlemen, the Steelers. Are the Steelers too talented to miss the playoffs? And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, like I did for a long time now, I feel like a broken disc, all right? Yes, they are too talented to miss the playoffs, all right? Ben Roethlisberger, over the years, had at his disposal Antonio Brown, who is what I consider the best wide receiver in the game. Juju McSchuster, who's a young and upcoming talent, who is the second best wide receiver in the game. Had Le'Veon Bell for some time now. We all know about the issues there. But yes, the Steelers' offense should be the best offense in the league. They should literally make the playoffs every year. They should have won Super Bowls, but we all know Tom Brady, the Patriots, that dynasty over there, and that has prevented the Steelers from making the Super Bowl in years prior. But now it seems like the Patriots is no longer preventing that team from going to the Super Bowl. It's the Steelers who is preventing the Steelers from going to the Super Bowl because they have so many off and on the field distractions that it's not even funny. All right, so let's look at the tail of the tape here. Right, we all know about Le'Veon Bell and the situation over there where he wasn't getting paid his money. And on Mike and Leel keeping it real, me and Mike was going at it again. I said that you got to pay this guy, right? We all know that, the running back position has a shorter span than any other position in the NFL, right? The toll that the beatings and the tackles take on your body, we all know about that. But still, Le'Veon Bell at the time was in his prime, and he was the best running back in football. He can turn a 2-yard, maybe he could turn a loss into a 4-yard gain, all right? Stuff like that. So I said, to eliminate the distractions on the team, to, just be better offensively with him there. Even though they didn't need him, still him being there would have been better, right? That's why I said pay this guy. Because there's going to be a lot of noise circling throughout this season with Le'Veon Bell. And every time the Steelers lose a game, anytime the Steelers, even anytime a guy show up late to practice, it's going to be brought up Le'Veon Bell. The situation of Le'Veon Bell is what's getting in the way of the Steelers. So I said pay the guy, right? But they didn't do it, and throughout the year, things got worse, right? So we have the Le'Veon Bell situation here that I just explained. Now, we have AB, who is the best wide receiver in football, needless to say. And with AB, to me, he's a diva. I'm going to just keep it real here. He's a diva. And players like that, they need to, Ice Cube, check yourself before you wreck yourself. They need to do that. He needs to look in the mirror. I'm pretty sure he did that 1,000 times because he loves himself. Obviously, you can see if you see on his social media, all you see in Antonio Brown's Instagram is pictures of him, pictures of him, pictures of him, and pictures of him. So I'm pretty sure he looked in the mirror. But he needs to look in the mirror in a different way and realize that this is a team game, all right? It's a team sport. I mean, all sports should be team sports unless you're playing tennis. But it's a team sport. And it's not all about you. Yes, we all know your greatness, but it's not. It's not all about you. So he needs to do that. So let's get more in depth. All right. So basically, before the Steelers game against the Bengals, obviously the AB had a dispute with a teammate in which he threw a football, stormed out of practice, didn't show up for a walkthrough, didn't show up for the next couple of practices, and didn't play in a pivotal game. Even though the Steelers obviously with him, if they would have won anyway, they won the game. But still, it was a pivotal game, and you would have liked to have your best wide receiver, your best available weapon on the field. He didn't show. So now what a lot of us radio hosts and potential Steelers fans is looking at a horrible season. We should have made the playoffs. They still grieving. Now we got this situation. And it just seemed to me that with the Steelers, time and time again, they make headlines for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons. So let's look at this. Antonio Brown threw the foot. I'm glad he ain't throw soup like J.R. Smith. All right, I'm glad it wasn't soup that he threw. But he did that, right? Then we still have the situation from a year prior in which Antonio Brown was recording himself on Facebook Live in the locker room while his head coach is giving a speech. We still have that, right? Social media, Instagram, Facebook, we all know what that is, right? He's doing that. During a press conference today, when Mike Tomlin was speaking, where was Antonio Brown? Oh, yeah. On Twitter, tweeting while his coach is giving a press conference about him, tweeting. Now you have him also on Twitter making googly eyes with Jimmy Garoppolo of the 49ers, all right, making it seem like they want to team up together, right? That's another thing here. Then you got him following Tom Brady on Instagram. What you following Tom Brady for? All right, he already got followers. He don't need your following, all right? Even though I would love for Antonio Brown to be on the Patriots. Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, but still, that's unrealistic, all right? Unfollowing the Steelers on Instagram. Wow, okay. I guess you too great to be following the Steelers. Then following the 49ers on Instagram. All these things with Antonio Brown. He just bought himself a chain that's gold with I don't know how much carats was in the chain of a goat. I'm guessing that's supposed to mean that he's the GOAT. Right? So all these things that Antonio Brown is doing with the tweets and the Facebook lives and all about me. I'm the best player on the court. I should be getting paid. I'm this. I'm that. Ben Roethlisberger, you're nothing without me. This is bringing down the team. So I know a lot of y'all people were saying, well, we just got to put up with it. He's the best wide receiver in the game. But, ladies and gentlemen, when your team is distracted, when you're supposed to be worrying about how you making the playoffs, and then you're worrying about a player throwing a football at another player and this and that, and then your coach got to speak up for him every time, it gets annoying, and it becomes a distraction. And believe it or not, they can say it has no effect on the game. I believe it has an effect on the game. Because sports is not only a physical sport. It's not even only a physical game. It's a mental game. And if you're thinking about all this stuff, it can get in your head and it can mess you up. So, maybe the Steelers ought to make a trade. Maybe. But I don't know if that's possible. You got to look at the financial situation, right? In 2017, they gave Antonio Brown $72.7 million. He just signed in 2017. So by doing that, it's gonna affect the Steelers financially. But it can happen. And it might end up happening because situations like this, it just can't go on. So, we'll see. But Big Ben is not out of the water yet either. Because Big Ben, he also has a lot to do with it. Because, he talked about retirement, 2 years ago? Then all of a sudden, he didn't want to retire no more. And then, everything with the Steelers, it just seems to be all filled distractions. And that's what's messing up the Steelers. Like I said, the Steelers are too talented to be in the playoffs. I have been saying it for a lot of episodes now. They should be in the playoffs right now, but unfortunately, they're not. Let's look at their schedule. Let's look at their record and their wins and losses throughout the season. All right? They started off with a tie against the Cleveland Browns. Mind you, a good Cleveland Browns team, but without Baker Mayfield. Tyrod Taylor was starting in that game. So, not a knock against Tyrod Taylor, but you're not Baker Mayfield. We all see how that Browns team is right now. So you're tied against a Browns team, in which a game you should have won. You had an opportunity to win, you should have won it. Then you lost to a good Chiefs team, which I don't knock you for. But you was at home, so it's a winnable game. All right? 42-37, they lost that game. Right? Then you go on the road against the Bucs. You win that game, when a lot of people counted you out to lose that game. Ryan Fitzmagic at the time was throwing balls. But right now, he looked like Ryan Fitztragic. But obviously, you won that game, and we gave you that. Right? We said, okay, maybe the Steelers is back. Maybe. But then, after that, you lost to a good Ravens team at home in a game that you should have won. Now, you win 6 straight games. You go 6-2, right? You win 6 straight games. And your playoff chances is skyrocketing. You're almost a lock to make the playoffs, right? But then, you go on the road and you drop 3 straight games against teams that you should have beat. You go on the road and you lose against the Broncos with a late interception by Big Ben, a guy that's been in the league since 2003, making that play in the end zone. Then you go on the road and then you lose to you at home, actually. You lose to a Chargers team in which you was up 23-7 in the third quarter at home. You lose that game. And then you go on the road and lose to the Raiders. Tell me one thing John Gruden has done right this year. Tell me one good thing that the Raiders did this year. The only good thing I saw on the Raiders this year was Derek Carr giving the fans high fives when it was the last game at that stadium. That's the only thing. You lose to them. All right? The kicker, Chris Boswell, slipped on the field and with a game potential time field goal. You lose that. So after that, it was just basically nothing that the Steelers could have done other than win that game against the Saints. They beat the Patriots team, and we thought that they had the momentum, which they did. And the only thing left, they put themselves in a position where they had to win against the Saints in a game where unlikely they was going to win. And they performed well in that game. Big Ben looked really good in that game than I've seen him in a long time. All right? But costly fumbles, all those things right there cost them that game. And at the same time, even though we can sit here and say that we didn't expect them to go win that game, they still had an opportunity to win the game. And once again, it was the Steelers messing it up for the Steelers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, they had to have help. They had to get the Cleveland Browns to beat the Ravens in order for them to make the playoffs. And that's asking a lot. Even though that's a good Browns team, the Ravens are playing really well, and I'm going to get into them in a minute. But that's what happened. And obviously, they didn't get that to fall. And now they're out the playoffs, and now we got this madness with AB and the Steelers, and we just got to wait to see how far that goes and how far that escalates, and if there's a potential trade in the near future. Moving on to the next topic. All right? So, the game that I was just talking about, that I'm going to talk about now, is the Browns and the Ravens, right? Baker Mayfield, this guy is the real deal. I remember covering the NFL draft when it happened at the studio up in Cortland. And I remember when the Browns drafted Baker Mayfield, I almost walked out that booth. I did. I thought the safest bet was to go with Sam Darnold, right? You have 2 picks in the top 4 picks. I almost walked out because I didn't believe in Baker like that. I just didn't believe that should have been the first pick. But throughout this season, I'm not afraid to come up on this show, in my show, and admit when I was wrong. I was wrong about Baker Mayfield. I was. Part of it probably was because I like Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma is a rival. That's probably could have been it. We all know sometimes we allow our biases to get in front of our brains or whatever. But Baker Mayfield, nevertheless, he's going to be the real deal. He's very accurate with the ball. All right, in this game, 23 of 42, 376 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he had the 3 interceptions. Obviously, that's something that he got to patch up, those interceptions. But other than that, look at the transparency among the wide receivers. Everybody's getting love on the Cleveland Browns. All right? Everybody. All right? You look at Landry in that game. 5 receptions for 102 yards. Rashard Higgins, 4 receptions for 69 yards. Actually, 86, rather. Antonio Callaway, 4 receptions for 79 yards. David Njoku, 3 receptions for 62 yards. All right? Bashard Perriman, 3 receptions, 45 yards. He spreads the ball out really well, and I do believe that Browns team, even though they didn't accomplish what they wanted to do, which was have a winning record to the season, they're going to be a problem next year. They really are. Because Baker Mayfield, he's changing that franchise. All right? But there was a couple questionable calls in that game. In regards to coaching, they didn't challenge the running back being short of the first down when he actually got it. That was pivotal because you keep a drive alive. Potential is you have a hot Baker Mayfield, you're going to score. They didn't challenge that play, and they gave the ball right back to the Ravens. That was questionable. If you're a coach, listen, I would have made that decision. I would have challenged it because it was clear as day that there was a first down being made with Nick Chubb. You didn't challenge that. Then you didn't challenge the pass that Baker Mayfield threw in the end zone, and which should have been a touchdown to Njoku. Even though, it was right before the touchdown because all touchdown plays are review. So there are a couple coaching errors that were made in the game, and I'm not gonna make it seem like that was the end of the world. But who knows? Who knows? The drive keeps going, and who knows what happens there. But Lamar Jackson, let's get to him. This the guy I told you that was going to be the most successful. Because I do believe in his talents and skills, and I do believe that the Ravens are a good team. And like I said, in the norm in which black quarterbacks are not smart enough to be a quarterback. Oh, Lamar Jackson, he's Michael Vick. All he could do is run. He can't pass the ball. But he did pull up a 200-yard passing day against the Chargers. Good defense, right? But in this game, 14 to 24, 179 yards, 90 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. Obviously, you got to respect his run game, but you also got to respect his passing game at the same time. So our defenses in the NFL, in the AFC rather, who's going to be playing Lamar Jackson, whoever you are, respect his passing game. Because, yeah, y'all might dedicate y'all focus on his running ability, but I'm telling you, he could pass the ball. He can pass the ball, so watch out for that, all right? Kenneth Dixon, the running back for the Ravens. 117 rushing yards. So obviously they can run the ball, and when you can run the ball, that can always set up play action. And the Ravens is going to be a team to look out for in the playoffs. But I do believe that the Ravens are going to go far, and watch out for the Browns next year. I'm not saying the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl now, y'all. Calm down, but watch out for them next year. And now you have Kirk Cousins. It's time for me to get on Kirk Cousins. It's time. Kirk Cousins, you're on the hot seat now. It's time. It's time. Don't think you was getting no leeway on my show. It's time. $84 million, ladies and gentlemen. $84 million. This man, Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, how you like that? Oh, yeah, how you like this? $84 million was given to this brother to not even do too much. The Vikings wasn't asking him to be Joe Namath. The Vikings wasn't asking him to be Tom Brady. All the Vikings was asking for in Kirk Cousins was to at least show up during the big games. You got a good team around you. Just make the necessary passes, complete third down passes, all right? And you'll get to the Super Bowl easily with $84 million. That was all that was asked of this brother. And damn, he couldn't even do that. He couldn't even do that. So let's look at his resume, Kirk Cousins. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's unbelievable. So let's look at his resume, right? Kirk Cousins is 4-24 against playoff teams. 4-24 against playoff teams. Right? 4-13 in night games. So listen, if I'm the NFL, Kirk Cousins, until you win a night game, you're banned from playing on night games. All right, I don't want to see Kirk Cousins on a Sunday night football game. I don't want to see Kirk Cousins on a Monday night football game. I don't even want to see him on Thursday. All right, I don't at all. 1 o'clock games, straight through for Kirk Cousins going forward. I don't even care because he does not show up. 4-13 in night games? Are you kidding me? And this the guy that you gave $84 million to? 4-13 in night games. Lost all night games this season against the Rams. 38-31. Yeah, shootout, but you lost the game. It goes on your resume, brother. Sorry, we can't give you leeway because you performed in that game. Still goes against your resume, right? They lost against the Rams this year. They lost at home against the Saints and against the Bears. All night games they lost this year. So, what good things do you want me to say on this show about Kirk Cousins? I've been saying it. I've been saying the teams that were trying to recruit him, the Jets, the Broncos, all these teams was making it seem like he was the next coming of Christ. All right? I've been saying that. And I remember going back and forth with Mike on the real, on Mike and Leel keeping it real, debating about this very topic. He was not that much better than Alex Smith. Right? The Vikings messed up. They made a bad investment. All right? Because guess what? Numbers never lie. All the Vikings really had to do was get a stat sheet, look at the numbers, and do their homework. Right? And look at what they have. So can you tell me a scenario in which you saw this whole season in which Captain Kirk was better than Case Keenum of last year? Can you somebody bring something? Show me where Kirk Cousins was better than Case Keenum of last year. Teddy Bridgewater, backup quarterback. They could have did something with him. They could have, as far as I'm concerned, before he went down, he was up there. He was doing his thing. So you decided to get rid of Teddy Bridgewater. You decided to get rid of Keenum, who did absolutely nothing wrong. I'm not going to say his numbers were staggering. My eyes wasn't popping out. But he still was very careful with the ball. He didn't turn the ball over. And they got to the NFC Championship game. And that was he performed bad in that game. But overall, I did not put emphasis on one game to ship him off. So now you give this brother $84 million. And he's just doing what he normally does. Doesn't show up, which is absolutely nothing. He doesn't show up. All right? He had a similar situation against the Redskins years back in which they were home. And all they had to do was beat the Green Bay Packers and they win the playoffs. All right? He ain't show up then. He ain't show up then. All right? So in this game, Kirk Cousins going for 20 of 33, 132 yards, 1 touchdown. You mean to tell me in a game in which everything matters, you have to win this game to get in, you're only putting up 132 yards and 1 touchdown, and this is what we paying you $84 million to do? You only put up 7 points in garbage time, prime time against Seattle. In garbage time. If it wasn't for garbage time, you would have been left on 0 in a prime time game. And you're the $84 million man. Ladies and gentlemen, I just don't understand it. I honestly do not understand. But if you saw the movie, The Bird Box, which is, staggering all these numbers and stuff like that, all right? We all know about the blindfolds that these people had to wear. And so, Kirk Cousins, this was you when you saw your $84 million. Stevie Wonder. And this was the Vikings, all right? Looking at the stat sheet before they called Kirk Cousins and gave him $84 million. Kirk Cousins, $84 million. Ladies and gentlemen. And that's just what I got to say about Kirk Cousins. So now, let's move on. And before we move on, just to let y'all know, the Bears are going to be playing the Eagles. I'm going to get into my predictions later on, probably not in this episode. But the Bears are a team that you got to watch out for. And yes, I know I've been, coming at Kirk Cousins for the last couple of minutes. But I got to give my credit to the Bears. They are a good team. They have a top-level defense. All right? But my thing is, when somebody paying you $84 million to do one thing and you don't do it, I have to get on them. But not a knock against the Chicago Bears. They're going to be a force in the playoffs. And if I'm in the NFC, I don't want to see Chicago. So let's just get that straight. All right? And now move on to the Cowboys. Right? The Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen? How about them Cowboys? To all my Cowboys fans, I have a lot of Cowboys fans that I know of. My dad, he's in the studio. He's a Cowboys fan. And, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. They're America's team, right? So I'm going to get into them. I can't have a show without talking about America's team. The Cowboys, they won a shootout against the Giants 36-35. So how far can this Dallas team go in the playoffs? And listen, I'm not a Cowboys fan by the any means of the necessary. But I do believe that the Cowboys could go far. They could. They have a realistic chance of going far because they haven't won a game. Ezekiel Elliott, and they just know what to do. They run the football, all right, and they set up Dak Prescott for him to be able to make his plays. They defense, when they want to show up, they can show up. So this team could go far in the playoffs, right? My thing here is, what Dak Prescott are we going to see? Are we going to see the Dak Prescott and where he look like he can't throw a lick, that he can't make plays with his arm? Or are we going to see the Dak Prescott that we saw a couple of years ago when the Dallas Cowboys played against the Green Bay Packers? In a game in which that was the best I ever seen him look. So if we could get that Dak Prescott in this game this weekend against the Seattle Seahawks, it's all she wrote for the Cowboys. They can do whatever it is they want to achieve in the playoffs because they have a good team. They have a good team. All right? I won't say they have a good fan base, but they have a good team. Right? So the thing here is the Giants, right? Before I come back to the Cowboys, I'm going to come back to the Cowboys. The Giants, I mean, I expected them to do this bad. I really did. I believe I predicted their record to be 6-10. And if they won this game, in which they should have won, my prediction would have came true. But Saquon Barkley, y'all. Saquon Barkley, he's the real deal. And in my estimation, I say give it the next couple of seasons. I mean, you could argue it now. But I don't like to be the prisoner of the moment type of guy, right? But give it a couple years. And I do believe that Saquon Barkley will be the best running back in football. For what I've seen from this brother, the athleticism, the things that he's able to do, all right? Lost yards turn into gain yards. And he makes the Giants offense go. And if I'm the Giants fan, which I'm not, but, you know, I'm from New York, so, you know, hey, I like to see them do good here and there, but not too good, to the point where they beating my Patriots year in and year out in the Super Bowl. But, you know, if I was a Giants fan, ladies and gentlemen, I would be happy to see what I'm seeing from Saquon Barkley, because I do believe if there's any bright spot, that will be the bright spot for the Giants team and organization, along with OBJ. If he turns his diva roles just like his counterpart, Antonio Brown, if he can fix that, and Eli Manning play to some degree how he was playing when they were on a little, you know, when they won a couple games on the road against the 49ers and stuff like that, then we'll bring back Eli, and we see how the last chapter or the last few chapters of the book of Eli pans out. All right? Because earlier in the year, I don't know what Eli was that. I mean, maybe it was an Eli I've been seeing for a long time now. All right? Even though he won the 2 Super Bowls. Because I ain't even got to go into that, because that's a whole nother topic for another day. But if I'm a Giants fan, nevertheless, I'm excited to see what Saquon Barkley brings to the table next year, because he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And if the Giants could, you know, they have a little momentum. Now, even though they lost this game, they have a little momentum. They should have won on the road against the Eagles. All right? They should be confident. Because talented-wise, if you look at that roster, they should be way more better than what their record shows. They are one of the most disappointing teams in the league, along with Jacksonville. I give the edge to Jacksonville. They were, what, a pass interference call away from going to a Super Bowl? Obviously, we see what happens there. So the Giants, you know, take this little momentum that they should have into next year. Offensive line improves. Giants, they should make noise, at least some noise. All right, but back to the Cowboys here. In my estimation, this game, this weekend, is a 50-50 game against Seattle. I do believe they're basically the same team. They're the same replica of each other. All right? If you clone the Dallas Cowboys, you'll get the Seattle Seahawks. To me, they just alike. But what it's going to come down to, in my opinion, is Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. What Dak Prescott are we going to see? And when I come back from this 5-minute break, I'm going to get into more topics. We have my famous real or real takes, and I'm going to play a tune. I'm going to play a song. And when we come back, the Real Leel Show will continue, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, I'm from the dark side, the wickedest. My cypher quote with lyricists worldwide. We travel the globe off of our penmanship. The year was 95, my mother grinding to survive for me. The irony, we made it out alive but lived in poverty. But now we living properly, but back then we struggled. She hustled working double jobs for that. Yo, mommy, I love you. Yo, bless my whole earth. My father was pimping, he tried to soul search. Was never there to teach me, but beat me as if I stole merch. Was mad real, moved it with my granny out in Brownsville. The projects is where I started writing as a child still. Live on your ass, you ain't safe to walk unless you know the math. When soldiers pass, Rugers in they palm, the beef gets static fast. Thematic blast, scene switch, shadow on this king shit. Worldwide, we travel the globe, sold out arenas off the composition. Writing visions down in the pad. Lost a lot of victims, younger niggas lacking the path, but still anonymous. I can't complain, was born before the winter came. My mom made sure that I was warm with what she made for Burger King. A young adult for the DR, adapting to the cold New York. Was was torn apart, but still fulfilled the part. A son, her favorite star, raised with lots of love. The kid became a king by listening, and prince with discipline. Convinced invincible, was taught to value principles. Be thankful for your food and give your praises due. And yo, my mom's had set the rules before my pops was in the loop. Yeah. Peace to all my fly niggas rockin' Tommy Hill. Knowledge Bill, bumpin' to our music like we got the deal. Peace to all my fly shorties rockin' low shit. My family be the closest, stay humble and focused. Peace to all my fly niggas rockin' Tommy Hill. Knowledge Bill, bumpin' to our music like we got the deal. Peace to all my fly shorties rockin' low shit. My family be the closest, stay humble and focused.
I got a lot of dreams that I wanna make real. My daughters make music while my mama take pills to live. So tell me how my drama ain't ill. Like how you break it down and ain't bill. How I reach you when that llama ain't filled. Am I waiting too long? Cause working as a waiter ain't working, I'm waiting too long. But see this though, they keep your eye on when you going through what I'm on. Knowing where you going to and no one to rely on. For all the real people who wonder how I get by. On the rid, I'm still struggling, juggling 9 to 5. I got my phone silent, I needed to cope alone. Believing an open dome is me healing a broken home. Used to just cut class and puff pass and telling stories but I fucked up past. We in a rush, must ask why it's unlikely to get a decent reply. Probably because we hungry and need a piece of the pie. What's up?
Peace to all my fly niggas rockin' Tommy Hill. Knowledge Bill, bumpin' to our music like we got the deal. Peace to all my fly shorties rockin' low shit. My family be the closest, stay humble and focused. Peace to all my fly niggas rockin' Tommy Hill. Knowledge Bill, bumpin' to our music like we got the deal. Peace to all my fly shorties rockin' low shit. My family be the closest, stay humble and focused.
I still remember all the coldest nights, you keeping us warm. A single mother raising 3, you had to weather the storm, but still made it happen. You had to take action, struggling tragedies. Pops is way too busy fucking, starting other families. Damn, you see it's easy to make a baby, it's hard to raise him up to be great. He wasn't up for the part, it tore us apart. The nights I wiped the tears from your eyes and broke your heart to know he's with these women, telling you lies, making you cry. Deep inside you think it's you with the issues, like you ain't good enough for him, as if your love ain't official. But listen mama, you a queen, can't nobody tell you different. Held it down on your own while he was scared of commitment. I'm hoping you listen, cause honestly if it wasn't for you, yeah I'd be dead or in a cell. You always helped me get through, and I know it wasn't easy raising me. We had our share of fights, but I promise I'll make you proud. I put that shit on my life, just watch.
I'm disrespecting the troops. Colin Kaepernick said, I'm taking a knee in protest. Well, first he just sat down. There was a white dude, a veteran, that suggested that he kneel and pray. A white dude who was a veteran in the military who suggested that he do this. You understand what I'm saying? So how are you disrespecting the troops? I don't understand. My little ass was in 6th grade telling my German white 6th grade teacher to kiss my black ass. I'm not standing up for no goddamn Pledge of Allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, the second half of the Real Leel Show starts right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the last half hour of the Real Leel Show, and we dived into a lot in the first half. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get into some more stuff. Starting with the real Leel, real or not real takes. And if you tune into the show for the first time, basically what I do is I read about 5, maybe to 7 statements, and if I agree with the statements, I say real. And if I disagree, I would say not real, with a little short summary of why I chose real or not real. All right, so I'm going to do that right now, and these are sports through pop culture topics here. So number 1, Amir Khan should fight Kell Brook over Crawford. And I'm going to go with Real. And the reason why I say Kell Brook is because if he fight Crawford, he's going to lose. If Amir Khan fight Crawford, he's going to get run out the gym. So I'm going to go with Real because I do believe Amir Khan has improved. I'll give him that. He's improved from the guy that fought Canelo and got knocked out. He's improved from that. But how improved? I don't know, to the point where you would want to fight Crawford, who I consider top 2, top 3, pound for pound in the world, especially in that welterweight division, along with Spence. So I'm gonna go with Real. He should fight Kell Brook over Crawford. Number 2, Beyonce and Jay-Z challenges fans in 2019 to turn vegan. Respect the challenge. I mean, I'll go Real. I'll go Real because it's a respectable challenge, and I'm glad to see Beyonce and Jay-Z giving their fans, some consciousness, some level of consciousness. But, I'm not going to lie. I love chicken, and I'm going to still eat chicken. Matter of fact, I'm going to hit up my spot tomorrow. But maybe one day I'll turn vegan, all right? Like Tommy Egan, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to go with Real. I do respect the challenge. Shout out to Beyonce and Jay-Z and what they doing for the culture right now. And number 3, oh, Lord, R.Kelly. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, R.Kelly. Former backup singer says she caught him having sex with Aaliyah at 15, right? Like we ain't noticed before, all right? Should have been in jail. The brother's free, right? Should R. Kelly be in jail? I just said it. The brother should be in jail. I'm going with Real, and it rhymes. You know the deal. But yes, he should be in jail. Why? Because at the end of the day, signs showed. We also, I didn't see the tape, but a lot of people saw the tape. All right? So he should be in jail. And one thing to mention is, quote unquote, America's dad is in jail right now, right? Bill Cosby, he's in jail, right? He was making money. He was doing what he was doing. But, countless people came and with what happened to them, and he's in jail. So Bill Cosby in jail, I'm pretty sure R. Kelly need to be up in there too, all right? I'm just saying, right? Harvey Weinstein, all them cats, they should be along with R. Kelly, all right? Don't try to put America's dad, all right, a guy that told us to go to school and college, in jail, and not put R. Kelly there with him because they both belong there. So I'm going with Real. At number 4, Netflix says over $45 million Netflix account, watched the Bird Box. Was the Bird Box worth the time? I'm going to go with Real. It was. It was worth the time, ladies and gentlemen. It was worth the time. It definitely was. Because I can't see a thing. I can't see my haters. I can't see none of that, right? Listen, it was worth the time, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely got to go see that. I don't know what's up with all these apocalypse movies. It had me feeling like Apocalypto was around the corner. I don't know. But, if it is, ladies and gentlemen, and, that comes to truth, you best believe I'm on my Stevie Wonder. At number 5, Kanye West reminds the world on Twitter his love for Trump. Should Kanye fans stop supporting him? You know how I feel about Kanye. I said it 1,000 times on this show. The outlandish things that this brother has said, with slavery being a choice and all this nonsense. Yes, fans, if you shouldn't been supporting him after the slavery comment, now is the time that you should stop, right? Because the music is good. I know that. I know Kanye. Trust me. I know my Dark Twisted Fantasy. I know Graduation and all them other stuff like that. I know. Through the Wire was my jam right there. You know what I'm saying? But when a guy like this supports a guy like that, ladies and gentlemen, it's just only a fact that we stop supporting this cat. And I had Professor Griff on the line last episode. Definitely check that out. And you know what he said? He didn't even support the brother before he got to the White House. So it's about time we stop. You too. It's not that hard. You got all these artists out here, Drake and all these other people that y'all can listen to and plug in. Even OGs, right? You have all the. It seems like every day there's a new rapper out here that's just going to take off. Every day, all right? I can't even keep up with all these cats. So there's so much guys that you can listen to that are Probably better than Kanye. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's just leave this brother alone and let him figure out what he needs to figure out. At number 6, LeBron James says that he's the GOAT after beating the Warriors in the 2016 finals. That made him the GOAT. Do I agree? I mean, I do agree with guys believing in themselves, believing in their talent, as you should. You know, anytime you do something, you're supposed to believe in yourself and what you can or cannot do, right? So I agree with that. I say real for that. But if we coming back to reality here, not real. You're not better than Jordan, all right? I do admit that beating that Warriors team was spectacular. It was. But when you look at the tail of the tape here, when you actually analyze the tail, you don't even got to analyze it. It's common sense, to be honest with you. But, you know, a lot of people, you know, here and there, we ignore certain things. So let's bring it to the table. Draymond Green was suspended, in Game 5? They could have ended it right there. Iguodala, back was hurting him. He had the world on his back. I mean, you saw it when he died. I mean, yes, we credit that block that he had on Iguodala, all right, to block the shot that was going to go in, that the Warriors would have went up. But when you look at that, I mean, Iguodala, it looked like he was like, you know what I'm saying? His back, all right? He was hurt. Andrew Bogut was hurt. Festus Ezeli was hurt. To be honest with you, Warriors lost that finals, in my honest opinion. Why? Because they were too busy trying to chase the record instead of resting guys. And now guys got hurt, guys got injured, going into the finals against LeBron James along with the suspension. That's what beat the Warriors. But LeBron James did show up. Credit goes to that. He, you know, had that block. And Kyrie Irving, you know, clutch Kyrie Irving that is, he made that shot. So I don't believe in any of the necessary that made LeBron James the GOAT, but he can believe that if he wants to believe that. We all know, true NBA fans, we all know who really is the GOAT. And trust me, I don't like this guy Michael Jordan by any means. I don't like what he stands for. He doesn't, you know, speak up on certain quote-unquote black issues and stuff like that goes on in the world. But you know talent when you see talent. You know the best when you see the best. And as far as I'm concerned, Michael Jordan's the GOAT. So this is a not real statement. At number 7, to wrap up my real or not real takes, Mayweather stops, I don't even know how to pronounce his brother's name, but bear with me, I'm going to try. Nakawaka, whatever his name is, in round 1 in the exhibition match on New Year's Day. Makes an easy $9 million, right? Buying that Mayweather is bored, not real. You know why? Because bored is not the word. Mayweather is broke. That's the only reason why you will come back out of retirement to fight this cat. You're broke. You want to make an easy $9 million, all right? 50 Cent said it, that this brother was going broke. And guess what? I'm pretty sure he was broke. Because I don't know why in the world you fighting this cat for if you're not broke. What good does this come out of for Mayweather? But stopping a cat that looked like he was 10 years old, first of all, that was crying after he lost. I mean, the manager had to hug the boy. He was crying. It looked like somebody that just got jumped at the high school. I don't see it here. So I'm buying that Mayweather is broke. And Mayweather, I'm hearing, you know, circulations that, you know, he's blowing up Khabib phone about a possible fight. Listen, if you want to fight UFC fighters, if you want to fight kickboxers, can you please actually do it instead of minimizing what they can do to your benefit? If you want to be a UFC fighter, go in the octagon, not a boxing ring, all right? If you want to be a kickboxer, have those rules that you can kick, all right? That's all I got to say about that. But that's my real and not real takes for today. And I'm going to go into the college football reactions, college football playoff reactions that I have. And, you know, I have a lot of reactions, you know, a lot of things I want to say. But since we on S.Street, I mean, I could say a lot of stuff. But, you know, I'm going to respect a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So, what did the college football playoff tell me? All right? And what the college football playoff tell me is that, you know, I think it's about time we hit that expansion of 8 teams, right? Because Notre Dame always seemed to be this darling of a college football team. It's like they the America's team, basically, in the college ranks. They like the Cowboys. Notre Dame this, Notre Dame that. We all know about the movie Rudy, the movie. We all know about that. All right, yes, we all know about it's. The uniforms is pretty awesome. The stadium, rocking. We all know about that. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you got to play football because that's what you're doing. That's why you're on scholarship. That's why you got a coaching job. You got to play football. And for some reason, when it comes to the big games, this team doesn't show up. They're nowhere to be found. They literally nowhere to be found when it comes to that point. All right? So we all know about the national championship in which they got rocked by Alabama. Didn't show up. I'm thinking in this game that, they're going to actually make a game. I didn't predict them to win the game, but I thought it was going to be a close game. I thought that this would have been the closest game out of the two against Clemson because I do believe the loss of Dexter Lawrence, would have hurt the team. I mean, Lawrence, rather, that it would have hurt that team. But obviously, it didn't because Clemson's defensive line is experienced. And to be honest with you, they match up well with Alabama. They really do. But, those predictions are for another episode. But nevertheless, Notre Dame, they never show up. They lost this game 30-3. All right. The quarterback, Ian Brook, barely threw for over 100 yards. No touchdowns. Just another day in the park for Notre Dame, man. So, honestly. So, stop with all this Rudy stuff. Stop with all this glamour and all that. I know they got the NBC contract. But at the end of the day, I'm here to see football. And competitive football at that. All right. And Notre Dame just ain't bringing that to me right now. All right. The second game here, Alabama, I knew they was going to win. 45-34 was the score. I knew it. I mean, Oklahoma, their defense was lagging all year. Statistically, they ranked in the hundreds, all right, almost dead last in the FBS defensively in the secondary. So I knew, a guy in Tallulah who doesn't throw interceptions, who's very careful with the ball, who, he didn't throw the ball. He didn't throw an interception until that LSU game, which was halfway through the season. Didn't throw one in this game. I knew that this was going to be a walk in the park for Nick Saban in Alabama, and I've been saying it from the beginning of the year, and I've been saying it to now. This is the best Alabama team that Nick Saban has had ever. Ever. Why? Because they never had an offense in the past. All right? What Alabama used to beat you with, they better now. All right, they got offense now. They got a quarterback that can make big plays. That's gonna go to the NFL. Who was second runner up to the Heisman against Kyler Murray. They good. I knew they were gonna win this game, but credit goes out to Kyler Murray. He showed up. Kyler Murray showed up. He did his thing. He really did. And to all the naysayers and the guys that think that he can't be in the NFL, he could. He could. All right, he threw for 308 yards in this game, 2 touchdowns, 109 rushing yards, over 400 yards in the game. He threw for 4,000-plus yards in the season. So, Kyler Murray, I don't know what he's going to do, right? Is he going to play baseball, all right? Is he going to be the next Jackie Robinson? Who knows? Is he going to go to the NFL? We don't know. I don't really know how he is in baseball. I don't watch him in baseball. But wherever Kyler Murray decides to go, it will be in his best future. And what's best for him. And if he does decide to come to the NFL, watch out. That's all I'm going to say. This guy is accurate. He can run with the ball. He can kill you with his speed. He's one of the fastest quarterbacks I've seen in a long time. And he going to bring a lot to the table if he does decide to come to the NFL. If he goes to the MLB or whatever, the minor leagues, working his way up, well, guess what, my brother? Well, he from Hawaii? Oswego. Here we go. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my last topic before I depart. Black Monday was this past Monday after the football season. Oh, yeah, it's Black Monday, right? Because across the NFL, black coaches were fired. They got the hammer. All right, 6 of them. Well, 4 of the 6 were black, were of minority. So I guess, it lived up to the name, Black Monday, right? But my thing is here, right? About time Marvin Lewis got shown the door, all right? He had 13 tries at it, and he failed. There's a lot of guys that only get 1 shot at it. We just seen a guy, and I'm about to bring him up. But he got 13 tries. He should have got shown the door a long time ago, probably 5 to 6 years ago. He should have got shown the door, all right? It's about time. You also have Steve Wilkes, right? Steve, I know I'm not pronouncing this guy's name right. The coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He got shown the door, and it was only been 1 year. It's only been 1 year. Steve Wilkins, yeah, that's his name. 1 year. Really? What are you supposed to do in 1 year? You're not Jesus. You're not going to snap your finger and they're going to make the playoffs. All right? I don't understand that. Todd Bowles, I do. I don't understand that. So my thing is here, if you firing this coach, if Steve Wilkins can have a 1 year shot, why is John Gruden still with a job? Because tell me one thing that John Gruden has done better than Steve Wilkins. Getting rid of Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper, their best wide receiver, what? So if you're going to apply that standard to Steve Wilkins, apply that to John Gruden. Because he has messed everything up since he came back. And I know he's a household name. You don't know about him and his experience in the NFL. But listen, the game, the rules should apply to everybody who's playing that game. And that's what I got to say about that. And you know what? That pretty much wraps up this next episode of The Real Leel Show. Now, on the next episode, I will be giving y'all my predictions. I will be filling out my playoff bracket because that's what I do. I'm a football fan. I love it. And guess what? I can't get above it. So you know what? With that being said, it's about time I roll up out of here.